Nika here. Happy hump day. And I am so sorry. It is very dim in here. It is a rainy day in Chicago. So bear with me. I will try to make it a little bit brighter in here, but home is pretty dark. Now, I know you saw the title, babe. I know you saw the title of this video. So you know what we're going to be talking about. Before I get started, this is a very, very sensitive topic, okay? We're talking about suspicious blue powder that was literally found at the crime scene. Who was snorting what? Were they under the influence? If somebody was potentially under the influence, could this have maybe led them to commit a crime? We know that illegal substances do have an effect on your mood, on your brain, on your behavior. But so many things are coming into my brain all at once, right? Because we have heard Steve Gonsalves say a gazillion times that horrible things were going to come out. Horrible things were going to be released. And now here we are, almost 3 years in. Mr. Kohberger has pled guilty, probably to buy himself some time, right? We know that 95% of cases in the US of A, the priority, guys, in these cases is to expedite the process. This is literally the priority of courts, of lawyers, of attorneys. Let's do it and get it over with. It's not so much to get the real person behind bars. It's more like, let's just do it and get it over with. If we can get somebody to plea instead of going to trial, it's going to save us a lot of time, a lot of money. And again, Steve Gonsalves said horrible things were going to come out. And I'm like, horrible things are coming out. And I know that a lot of you guys disagree with me regarding my personal belief, my opinion. By the way, these are all my beliefs, my opinions for entertainment purposes only, because again, very sensitive topic. So I need to start with a little disclaimer. And is this what he was talking about? Now we are having access to every single document of the Kohberger investigation. We have all the documents, 300 plus pages that just dropped, and there are more to be dropped. And I'm reading through all of them. I'm on the 14th document out of 300 plus, and everything is dropping. The truth is coming out. Again, some of you guys don't believe in that, but I just read a horrible story of a guy that was incarcerated for, he was 18, he was released when he was 56. Innocent. So I'm going to pull up this document here. It is a 2-page document. It is found, if you Google Kohberger investigation documents, you're going to have access to all of them. You have to download the data and then open it from there. Now, bear with me. Here we go. I'm going to skim through this. And it says, on November 14, 2022, I went to 1122 Kind Road. By the way, a lot of typos here. With Sergeant Blaker to observe the scene. Now this, I almost missed the part. This was typed up by Danny Vargas. Just thought I'd let you guys know, right? I went to 1122 Kind Road with Sergeant Blaker to observe the scene. I walked through the house and around the outside of the residence along with other investigators looking for possible evidence. ISP investigators were on scene walking through for a second time, looking for additional evidence. I walked around the south side of 1122 King Road, up the hill and along a fence line for Walenta. The backyard for Walenta backs up to the backyard of the area of 1122 King Road. I spoke with SG at Walenta. I asked for his permission to look through his backyard area, which he said I could. G told me he was a person who obviously called dispatch to provide information about what he observed. I told G after looking over the area and through the residence of King Road, I would come back and get a statement from him. I did not locate anything of interest in the backyard of Walenta or on the hillside behind 1122 King Road. I walked into 1122 King Road and looked through the house with other investigators. The following 4 evidence items were collected by ISP 3431J Talbot inside 1122 King Road on November 14, 2022, and turned over to me on scene. ISP took photos of the following items in the places they were collected from. I booked the following evidence into MPD evidence. A copy of this evidence property receipt relating to these items is attached electronically to the case file. So here we go, guys. This is what was found. And it's painting a picture right? It's painting a picture. Let me know. Be honest with me, okay? This is not to victim shame. This is not to shame anybody, but be honest with me in the chat. If you're part of the replay crew, please leave a comment in the comment section, right? Exhibit 57, rolled $2 bill located on the desk in F2, bedroom 1 northwest. Let me know in the chat, who does that belong to, babe? Who does that bedroom belong to? I know you know. Exhibit 58. Blue powder, suspected rugs, located on the desk in F2, bedroom 1, northwest. Exhibit 59. Blood sample west wall, F2, living room. Exhibit 60. Blood sample F3, bedroom 2, northwest wall. Now, we know that there were samples all over this effing crime scene and they didn't test a lot of them. So at this point, I'm not even worried. We know there's blood belonging to at least 4 different people in this home, right? 4 plus different things that were not tested. I want to know about Exhibit 57. I want to talk about Exhibit 58. Who does that belong to? Let me know. And what type of picture does that paint? What type of picture does that paint? You're going to tell me that a rolled $2 bill and some blue powder, it wasn't, what is that painting? It's giving rug using, maybe even rug selling vibes, right? Right? Who's using blue powder? Were they snorting it? Because from what I've heard, this blue powder, it was a suspected rug. Now I'm gonna go to Google because a lot of people haven't been in the college scene. Okay, I was in the college scene. Were people using things? Yes, they were using things, but back in our day, from what I know, I don't remember. I heard about white powder, right? And I heard about other things, but blue powder, maybe I'm too old or something. So when I see blue powder rugs and I Google this, it says blue heroin. This is an illegal street opioid that typically contains potent synthetic opioids like fentanyl. It is known for its high risk of addiction and OD. Fentanyl, a synthetic opioid that is significantly more potent than heroin, often found in blue powder form. Just a small amount can be lethal, making it extremely dangerous. So again, this is very different from what people were using in college when I was young. It's looking like somebody was all up in that room, in that bedroom 1, snorting some blue powder, right? And what do we know about fentanyl that we just read off of Google? Okay, that it's extremely lethal. And it just makes me wonder, okay? Yes, but Adderall is not blue, babe, right? Even if she did that, that's just a rumor. That's just a rumor. The fact that Xana supposedly did that. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. Adderall is abused by a lot of people, not just college students, but it's not blue, babe. It's not blue. Blue powder here, it's like, I don't know, 1,000 times, 10,000 times stronger than Adderall. Way, way different. Now, if there is something that we know about Idaho, is that the Aryan Brotherhood gang runs that shit. And what were they caught trafficking just a few months after the IDAHO4? A shit ton of fentanyl, a shit ton of heroin, right? So who had the hookup? Oh, you have 10. Sorry, I've only seen the 25s. Who was snorting this stuff? And what room was this found in? Right? Right? But blue powder looks like to be blue heroin or fentanyl. That's what it's looking like. Who was having this in their bedroom with a rolled up $2 bill which is giving snorting vibes to me, right? Okay, and yes, somebody just said in the chat, I'm sorry, I didn't catch who, that young people do not understand the implications of these things. You can literally use it one time and be gone for life. Like you're done. You're done, babe. You're done. And from what I gather, and again, these are my opinions only, speculation, I have a feeling that they were all using. They were probably all using. They seemed to be the type of roommates that are trend followers. They don't seem to be trendsetters. They seem to be trend followers. We can see by how they all look the same. They all dress the same. They all same hair, same makeup, same self-tanner look, same everything. I'm not judging. I'm just making an analytical observation. And when you have people that are followers, and again, this is not to demean anybody. This is just making an observation. Most people are followers in general, but most followers are going to follow the crowd. And the crowd in Idaho, in most universities at this moment, they're using these type of rugs. They're using these type of very dangerous synthetics that can unalive you, within a few minutes after utilizing this. Not to mention, they're dangerous on their own, but we also know that there are a lot of cases where people pass away utilizing these substances because they're also laced with other things. These are very hard substances that pose serious health risks. So was this what Steve Gonsalves was talking about, that horrible things were going to come out? And I can see why parents wouldn't want this release, because it's making the victims look like they were involved in something, at least that they were probably using. And there are so many cases, in Idaho included, of people that have passed away when utilizing these hardcore substances, especially in college, which makes me go back to that one of the original theories. And that original theory is that they had all OD'd on these rugs. And then what? And then they made it look like somebody broke in there, somebody attacked them. It was this horrible, serial killer that did all these horrible things, when in reality, it could have been, they utilized these substances, they passed away from utilizing these substances, and then it was made to look like a horrible crime scene. Some people will say that that is extremely far-fetched. I don't know. The only way to really know is to actually see the crime scene and see what the blood splatter analysis look like in the home, right? That's the only thing that's going to tell us. But so many people have mentioned this was an OD. They OD'd. Somebody in that house panicked and they're like, oh my God, you need to help us because our roommates OD'd because we gave them, maybe potentially a theory, this is a theory, we gave them a synthetic opioid and now they've all passed away. And now we're going to get fudged. So somebody needs to come help us. Let me call mommy. Let me call daddy. Maybe they can fix this for us. Is that a possibility? Is that too far-fetched? This was like one of my very first original theories. I know a lot of people have had that theory as well. It's not that far-fetched. Especially because we know that the FBI was already in town. They were already investigating the Aryan Brotherhood gang, which was arrested, in April of 2023, April 2023. By the way, did you know that Jesse James Bailey, that was in charge of the, Aryan Brotherhood gang, was indicted, or he basically got fully charged the same day that Brian Koberger pled guilty? Did you guys keep track of that? Are you guys keeping track of all the legal documents? Because I think a lot of people assume that when Jesse James Bailey was arrested back in April 2023, that it's like, oh, it's done. No, it's not just done. They still have to hold him in jail. They still have to investigate all of the Aryan Brotherhood gang. They have to get names, whatever. But he actually got charged on the same day that Brian Koberger pled guilty. Did you know that? Please, guys, keep tabs of all the legal documents that are being dropped. And that's another reason why so many people, so many of us have theorized, is Brian Koberger a Fed? Was he working in this case? And I know people who have worked in these 3-letter agencies, guys. Sometimes they look so normal, they look so average, you would walk out in the street and see them and never assume that they're an undercover Fed or whatever. Or maybe this was just, whoever they wanted to pin it on. But either way, I thought that it was interesting, because at the same time here in this document, we have a desk with blue powder, suspected rugs, next to a rolled $2 bill. We're on the same desk, according to this exhibit here. And we're supposed to pretend it wasn't a big deal, right? And what did the coroner tell us? She said, oh, don't worry about it. You don't need to know if there were rugs in their system or not. What does it matter? They were still horribly unalive. No, bitch, it matters, because do we even know their cause of death? That's why it matters. That was one of the biggest red flags to me. When a coroner is telling the world, giving interviews and saying, it doesn't matter if they had rugs in the system. Yes, it fucking does, bitch. You think we're stupid? I'm sorry. I'm just very passionate today. I had a lot of caffeine and a lot of sugar. But I'm like, you think we're stupid? You think we were born yesterday? Because, hello, if they're snorting blue powder, potentially one of the most hardcore substances, if it's blue heroin, and they OD'd, yeah, it matters. It matters. And is that why Mr. G was so concerned? Horrible things are going to come out. Horrible things are going to come out. Okay, well, this is pretty fucking horrible. It's pretty horrible. So how are you guys doing today? What time is it? I need to get going. I'm in scrubs and I have to work soon, guys. So that was it for the video. Let me know if you like this video. Let me know if you think that this suspicious blue powder found in the bedroom that I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, right next to a $2 bill that was rolled up, is it giving rug abuse vibes? And you know what? Like, a lot of people are gonna say, this is very normal. I don't know, because I'm not in college now. This was not normal when I was in college. I'm old, but I'm not ancient. This was not that old. And when you have a coroner deflecting, when she's, yes, poetic justice, that's perfect. She was deflecting. Maybe hashtag coroner, hashtag nurse, hashtag fashion model, hashtag lawyer. Thank you so much, DFW, for the $5. It means the world, because they're totally suppressing this channel, and that matters. All of you guys' help matters. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for commenting. This promotes the channel. So really appreciate it. We have a coroner deflecting about rug abuse or potential rug OD. No, it kind of means something, babe. It kind of means something. Nika, if they started drinking by noon, they'd need Adderall to still be partying at 3 a.m. And not only that, but if I'm reading all these documents, there's so many contradictions. Again, I'm pulling up the very first documents when Dylan and Bethany were questioned, and they said that they were asleep from like 3 to noon. We know damn well you were not asleep. So the fact that they lied from the get-go, the fact that they covered their ass from the get-go, lied to law enforcement from the get-go, and said, oh my God, thank you so much, $20. John made it. You made it to the live. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the $20. That's a huge super chat. In this economy, thank you so much. Again, by the way, if you guys are in here, make sure that you're hitting the like and that you're commenting in the comment section as well as the chat. The comment section really promotes the channel. But also, a lot of you have told me that you keep getting unsubscribed. So are we getting close? Are we getting hot? Are we getting close? Because otherwise, why would they be unsubscribing you guys from here? Thank you so much, John, for the $20. It's just insane when we look at all of these newly dropped documents, and I'm pulling up what Bethany and Dylan said to the cops from the get-go, that they slept from basically 3 to noon. Why are you lying? Why are you lying? Just hours after the crime was committed. Unless you're trying to cover your ass, why are you lying? And we know they're lying. Why? Because after the investigation began, after all of their information was pulled from after all their information was pulled from the, where's the $5 super chat? I was trying to give it a love. Here it is. Thank you. We later found out that no, they were not asleep from 3 a.m. until noon. They were awake. They called their mom. They FaceTimed family members, and they also were all over social media. So when somebody lies from the get-go to law enforcement, I know your mind was still fresh, right? It literally just happened that day when they interviewed you. If you're giving a different story to law enforcement from the get-go, that is hinting at you are lying for some reason, and it's giving you were involved vibes. That's just my theory. It's just my opinion. You were involved, or you know something, and you're not speaking up, right? So this is why going through all these documents is so important, guys. And there is so much, like, I wish I didn't have a job. I like getting paid, but like I wish I could just like do this all day, because you have to read between the lines, and there are so many documents. I don't know if you guys have even tried to go on the website. So many documents, and starting on the first document, guys, so many contradictions, lies from Dylan, lies from Bethany. Now I'm on document 14, and what do we see here? Oh, look, they had blue powder and a rolled up $2 bill next to it, which is giving they were snorting blue powder vibes. And then we have the coroner saying it doesn't matter if they had drugs in their system when they passed away. It does, because that could be why they passed away, right? The original theory. The document continues to say, SG told me the following. He woke up a couple of times Saturday night. He looked at the clock, saw it was 4:17 hours, and said after 5 minutes of waking up, he heard a dog barking. Who do you think is S? Who do you think is G? Because remember, although these documents have dropped, a lot of things are still redacted. Like, it's like they're blurring out names and birthdays and everything else. So somebody here, SG, woke up at 4:17 and said after about 5 minutes of waking up, he heard a dog barking outside from the direction of 1122 King Road. Said he was going in and out of sleep, and after an hour, around 5 a.m., he still heard the dog barking outside from the direction of 1122 King Road. Interesting. Outside? Outside. Was Murphy outside? G said his bedroom is on the far northeast side of Volenta and is closest to the backyard of 1122 King Road. G said there is a motion light outside of his window and said if it turned on, he would have noticed it. G told me he has lived in this residence since January and has not heard the dog barking outside before in the middle of the night. Interesting. Is that Murphy? And if Murphy was outside, if this dog could have been Murphy outside barking at 5 a.m., it's giving cleanup vibes, right? Was somebody cleaning up at 5 a.m.? Why was Murphy outside? I next spoke with M. M told me on the 13th he woke up around 2:30 hours and left the house at around 3 a.m. A lot of movement at 2:30, 3, 4 a.m. by a lot of different people. M said he had an extended training day and it lasted about 12 hours. M said he finished home around 18:30. That's around 6:30 p.m. M said he was with approximately 20 members and did not notice anyone who should have been there or was not there. M did not remember hearing anything in particular when he woke up or left around 02:30 and 3 a.m. M did not hear the dog barking. I next spoke with T. M. T told me he did not hear a dog barking at any point. T said he had been out at the bars the evening of the 12th and got home around 2:30 hours. T said he sleeps with earplugs in. T said his sister, M mentioned she saw Madison Mogan at some point at the Corner Club. T provided me with his sister's phone number, D. Vargas. Reviewed Sergeant J.W. Lawrence. It's just, again, the more documents are released, the more truth is coming out. And it's not it's not looking good, in my opinion. This is just document 14 out of 300. So we still have a long way to go. But I promise to keep you guys updated. Ooh, my computer is like acting super sus. Okay. See how the chat is. Let's see how the chat is doing. Here we go. Hello, lovely Libra Truth Seeker suds. Hello. Momo's thinking. America has a $2 bill. Yeah, it's not common. But we sure do. Peggy, DFW Knights. Hello. Momo's thinking. You have several $2 bills. Yeah, a lot of people collect them, right? Thank you, Lee, for the kind comment. Peggy says crazy. Wayne says if it was something from a pharmacy, they probably would have put a name in the document. Right, but it said suspected drugs in the document. Truth seeker, they follow the crowd. Fortunately, I was never a follower, even in high school. Same. DFW Night, smash, smash, smash. Then roll up the $2 bill to arrange the blue dust into lines and then snort at leisure. Peggy, supposedly SG knows who the killers are, but he's going with Brian as a killer narrative to protect his family. It's also very possible, right? Especially given his background. Good old Persian rugs. Lost girl. Yep, and Dylan was friends with them with the rug dealer. She sure was. Too far-fetched? Maybe, maybe not. I think it's more rage jealousy still. Very possible. Poetic Justice says, trying to protect college. Cannot have 4 kids OD, so blame it on an outsider. Exactly, right? It's about the money. And even when people were asked questions early on, they were like, oh my God, what would we do if it was one of ours? What would we do if it was one of our own, a community member? That would have crushed us. And I don't know if you guys have seen the docuseries, but it's like you can really, I can really sense the hatred. Like they do not want outsiders, okay? We would have been crushed if it would have been an outsider. Or I mean, somebody from our own, one of our own. Oh my God. We've also heard the G-Fam in the early days. What were they saying? It's got to be somebody else. It's got to be someone from like the East Coast or the West Coast because one of our own would never. It's like from the get-go, they were trying to pin this on an outsider. Again, when you have these very tight knit communities where everybody sucks everybody's ass, basically, okay, because you have to in these small communities. If you're a lone wolf, you're not going to do so hot, babe. You're not going to do so hot. Trust me, I lived in Delphi, Indiana, okay? If you are a lone wolf and shit goes down, you are not protected, unfortunately. So it's common for them to try to pin it on outsiders, right? Mom was thinking, being blue, I guess it wasn't anything to do with Diddy. That's hilarious. Snow baby oil up in here, Mom was thinking. Jessa says, KG's brothers said OD at first. Maybe it was to do with dealing being interrupted. With Maddie may have done flushing them. I've also read about Brent and Brian working together and exposing the feds. Yeah, I've also heard that. Lovely Lever says, The do I was hearing read aloud was a report from DM or BF. They said Xana and Ethan would do it to stay awake while they partied. I'm sure it is probably in all of them if I had to guess. Probably. But my concern is not if they were just using it for fun, but was it in their system? How long had it been in their system? Did they OD or did they not? Like, I want to see the autopsy reports. WB says there's still some questions about Jack Showalter. Oh, please go watch yesterday's live because we went deep into Jack Showalter, right? Super Oro, hello. Have I missed too much? Yes. You have. Go watch from the beginning. Lost Girl says the coroner lady wanted them to be cremated. Sketchy fiasco. She doesn't seem right. Something's up with that. I agree. And her body language in those early day interviews don't sit well with me. She seems extremely uncomfortable. And again, I believe she's part of the good old boys club, but that's just me, right? Oh yeah, don't even get me started, Rosebud. Don't get me started about Dylan's fucking GoFundMe, bro. Like, no. How could you ethically donate money to Dylan knowing she saw Xana laying on the floor, saw a mass intruder? You didn't even go help her. She was passed out. I thought she was passed out. You didn't even go help her. I personally couldn't do it, but to each their own. Thank you so much, Jersey Jen. Thank you so much for the kind comments. Welcome. Hello, Carl. I'm sorry if I missed any of you guys. Sometimes the chat acts super funny, and I feel bad because I don't want any of you guys to be left out. Hello, Truth Seeker. Hello, Tell Us What. Hello, all of you guys. Paco, Blood 94, cleared by cell phone. Great job, MPD. Exactly. And don't even get me started about the evidence area that caught on fire or whatever. Two things you don't want to be in small towns: an outsider immigrant or someone who calls out the small town government officials. That's me, babe. Okay, like I know you guys don't actually know me in real life, but because a lot of us here are neurodivergent, and if you are yourself, feel free to let me know if you feel safe. One of the things about neurodivergent people is like we have a very strong sense of justice and ethics. Like anytime we see anybody getting abused, taken advantage of, doing something illegal, we're gonna do the right thing. I don't care if it puts my life at risk. I don't care if it endangers me. Like if you're doing something you're not supposed to, especially if you're putting somebody else in danger, we're gonna call you out. And I have shared this in the past, right? Like I started this massive investigation while I was in the military. I was just a little low-ranking Navy sailor, and I was afraid, okay? Was I afraid? Yeah, of course I was afraid. And when they started this massive investigation, everything came to light, right? No, you're not going to be liked when you are calling out small town government officials. No, you're not going to be liked when you're calling out corruption. No, you're not going to be liked, if you're an outsider, and an outsider can be just a little Navy sailor new to the military that doesn't go with the flow. Like all you have to be or do to be considered an outsider is to call out their bullshit. That's all you have to do. And as somebody who was like, yeah, I'm not going to let you abuse that person. I'm not going to let you abuse that lower ranking military member because we're new. We're not going to tolerate this bullying, this assault, this whatever. We're not tolerating that. I'm going to report you, bitch. And I got threats. I got actual threats while I was in the military. And when the investigation was said and done and people got in fucking trouble, I remember one of the commanding officers came to me indirectly as we were in formation, maybe 40 of us, and was like, I just want to commend a young HN. I was just a little E3 at the time. I want to commend a young HN for being so brave because she put herself through blah, 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 blah. And now we got the bad guys out. Obviously, not all of them. But my point is, if you see some shit that you know is wrong, you better call it out. I don't give a shit if you have children. I don't give a shit if you are scared and you're crapping your pants. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. Like, you better do the right thing. Otherwise, I don't want you here in my channel. I really don't want people. I would rather have 2,000 subscribers that are ballsy and have ethics and morals and some sort of like guidelines to live their life than to have just a bunch of, I don't know, a bunch of people who just do whatever the fuck and like follow the crowd. That's not the people I want to be associated with ever, ever. And it just makes me wonder because, again, one of those early theories regarding Brian Koberger was that, well, we know he's an outsider. We know that, first of all, doesn't have any ties, any connections to any of the locals, but also he was trying to join the police department. And we know he's neurodivergent. Being neurodivergent on its own makes you an outsider. Neurotypicals can whiff us out. They're like, this person's weird. She's playing with her hair too much. She moves too much when she talks, or eye contact is too intense or not intense enough. They whiff us out, guys. The neurotypicals can smell us, the weirdness on us. And that also makes you an outsider. So he's an outsider times 3, right? He doesn't live there, doesn't have any ties, is neurodivergent, is a little bit socially awkward from what people have said. Perfect person to pin it on. Perfect person to pin it on. And because we know that Brian Koberger is neurodivergent, statistically means that he has a higher sense of ethics and moral values and a stronger sense of justice, meaning that he's more likely to call out the bullshit, even though he could maybe have been calling out some government officials or a corrupt police department. What do you think? What do you think that puts you in? And it puts you in a very dangerous spot. Puts you in a very dangerous spot. But again, if he was doing that, if he was maybe saw something that was going on while he was trying to get into the police department, and he's like, I'm gonna call them out. Makes you the perfect target. Outsider, neurodivergent, strong sense of justice, and you're gonna call out people for their bullshit. I agree, truth seeker. Brian Koberger seems intelligent and intellectual, and in my opinion, has a strong sense of ethics because statistically speaking, neurodivergent people do, right? So, Barbara, welcome. I will never understand Dylan not calling 911. It made me think she did have something to do with it. That was totally unbelievable. And now GoFundMe, right? I know, Lost Girl. People are always arguing, right, about Brian Koberger. Oh my God, his facial expressions. Bro, he's autistic. But again, most people don't understand neurodivergent body language, right? And then we have so many psychologists. It's like, just because you're a psychologist, it doesn't mean you know how to read neurodivergent body language, right? They don't teach you that unless you specifically go to school for that. And let's see this comment. If DM, I don't know how to say your name, something trick. If DM needed powder for these parties and if KG was a connect, perhaps that's the need for +1 and why they were all in KG's room just before all going to sleep sharing blue powder. Yes, thank you for saying that because, again, if this was found in Kaylee's room and if she was the +1 and if she was a connect and if she could have maybe been selling, we are theorizing here, we are speculating here, then it all starts to come together, doesn't it? Right? It starts to come together. It starts to come together why Mr. Gonsalves said horrible things were going to come out. It starts to come together why Mr. Gonsalves is so focused on Koberger only. Hasn't even mentioned anything about the 4 other sources of DNA from other men. Right? If KG was the connect, then we start to explore other avenues. For example, that Kaylee took a lot of vacations, that Kaylee had a lot of expensive things, a lot of vehicles, and that she paid for it in cash. Right? Was Kaylee the connect for this blue powder? I don't know. I wasn't there, but let me know your thoughts. Again, please vote if you are in here. If you are part of the replay crew, welcome. Leave a 1 in the comment section if you think that this suspicious blue powder that was found at the crime scene was being snorted by all the roommates. And if you think that this blue powder was just, I don't know, fairy dust, glitter and crushed blueberry candy, put a 2. So thank you guys for the massive super chats. I feel so spoiled, and it's a blessing to just be here with you guys and talk to you about this, because none of it really points to Koberger yet, but we'll see. You guys have a wonderful night. Take care and see you soon. Bye-bye. What time is it? Because I have to go to work. 4 p.m. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.